As always, please retry the question before watching the video. There are a few things you need to know to be able to answer this question. If you don't know them, please add them to your cheat sheet, master them, and go back 5 before continuing in the video. What are the 3 things that can be wrong with the clause question? Punctuation in the middle of a clause, no independent clause in a sentence, and clauses separated improperly. Do names need commas around them on the ACT? Almost never. Almost never. What is the big clue that you need commas around a name? And that is that there is an article on the noun prior to the name. There's an article on the noun prior to the name. Like saying something like, in this scenario, it would be the lead hobbyist photographer, or something like a botanist, where it has an article, meaning making the noun stand alone without the name knowing who we're talking about. But if it does not have that article prior to the noun, you almost certainly need the name. It is essential to understanding what variation of that noun we are talking about, and therefore the name cannot have commas around it. With those in mind, let's go ahead and take a look at number 17. On September 3rd, 1938, while traveling up the Pacific coast, hobbyist photographer Charles Cushman loaded his first roll of Kodachrome color film into his 35mm camera. All right, so answer A, there's not punctuation in the middle of a clause. There is an independent clause in a sentence, and there aren't multiple clauses. You could consider the first part dependent followed by independent, but it's not in the underlined portion that we're dealing with. So that isn't something that we need to worry about. So answer A, there's nothing wrong with answer A that we can find. Answer B has commas around the name. And remember, on the AC, and really just in general, you should almost never have commas around a name, especially if it does not have an article in front of the noun in front of it. The noun in front of it, hobbyist photographer, it would need to have something like the lead hobbyist photographer or something of that effect, which it does not. And therefore, Charles Cushman is essential to understanding which hobbyist photographer we're talking about, and therefore cannot have commas around it. So that is punctuation in the middle of a clause. Answer C is also punctuation in the middle of a clause. Answer D is also punctuation in the middle of a clause. And therefore, we are just left with answer A. It makes complete sense. And so that is our answer. If this made sense to you, add it to your worksheet, write what you learned along with the answer, and then go on to do the remaining clause 1 questions that you missed on this test. If this is the final clause 1 question that you missed on this test, please do the clause 1 mastery and get 10 questions correct in a row before continuing to the next category that you missed the most of.